Peter! Good to see you at last. You look well.
We were just talking about you, old chap.
Here. You got the first round in to celebrate.
Celebrate?
Heard the paper's going shockingly well at last.
No need to be too shocked.
John, your eminent professor, mentioned it. Gather you showed him an early copy.
Word spreads when something's good, that's all.
Never seen the man so delighted. So, I propose a toast. To Peter.
To Peter.
To me?
May this be one foot inside the club. So all in all, I hear it's been a very productive summer. Got everything you wanted in Scotland.
It's an inspiring place, yes. Very beautiful.
Oh, she is. She is.
What are you talking about?
My hands are clean. I just mentioned Clara.
That was it. Clara, good man, Peter. Like I said, inspiration.
Sorry, shouldn't I have said anything?
I'd rather it was kept quiet. I don't want anyone getting the wrong idea, that's all. Clara's been helping with the readings and...
Helping? Well, bit of note-taking here and there, filing.
that kind of thing. A lot of writing, too.
Oh, I thought it was more, assisting them writing.
I don't know where you draw the line.
Oh, I see. So wouldn't that make it a joint paper?
Sam, I think we all know that Peter is the real professor in waiting here. I think he knows better than anyone how much he put into it and who wrote what. Isn't that right, Peter?
Of course.
And he's well aware his chances of promotion would be considerably lower if he'd only done half the work in collaboration.
Oh. No, I didn't know that.
Fine.
Collaboration isn't a bad thing.
No, I agree.
Unless, of course, you're that girl Molly, collaborating with the communists.
I think the word you're looking for is collusion.
Well, didn't work out too well for her either way. Shame, really. I'd have happily colluded with her.
Joe.
Ah, you're right. You're right. Too complicated. I prefer things with fewer strings attached. Having the KGB and MI5 watching through the curtains, that would really put me off.
Molly didn't deserve all that. I wonder what's happened to her.
Well, she hasn't come back for the start of term yet, apparently. Beyond that, who knows? A vanishing lecturer.
Someone must know something.
You're not worried, are you? You've got no secrets to hide?
Not anymore, thanks to Sam.
Sorry, old chap. It's all water under the bridge. New term, things will have settled down. Fresh start and all that.
My thoughts exactly. New term, new students. Speaking of which, what do you think of those two over there?
Them? Very nice, I'm sure.
Very nice.
Hold this, will you?
Are you leaving us?
Don't be so possessive, Peter. What are you, the wife? It's like you said, Sam. Never too late for a fresh start. I meant what I said. Hearty congratulations on the paper. You always had that passion, much more than the rest of us. And this sounds like that old conundrum, women or work. Just don't forget your years of struggle. Don't miss this opportunity now. Wouldn't want you missing out on what you deserve.
All right, Joe. You've made your point.
Right. I'm off to get what I deserve. Don't wait up, chaps.
You're a disgrace, Joe.
Absolutely shocking.
He keeps doing that, doesn't he?
How does he keep doing it and getting away with it?
Come on, Pete, pay attention, head in the bloody clouds again. That's your problem. Pick up the oars and row like I told you. Faster than that, son. Come on, keep them both in time.
Doing my best.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. And try and keep your weight in the middle, too. You don't want to tip us in. What a wonderful start of the holiday that would be.
Do you want to help?
No, this is a test of your listening, son, and trying to work things out for yourself. How would you learn if I did everything for you, eh?
I didn't mean do it all, just take an oar maybe.
Well, say I did and you could only work one oar, then where would we be? We'd be going round in circles. Oh, now, look, there's a strong current coming up. It's a good test, son. Now, remember what I taught you, and this won't be a problem. Keep her straight and true. Strong arms. I said strong. No, 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 no!
Trying.
That side! Harder on the port side!
Help!
Jesus, Pete, that one! Oh, come on, give it here! Give it here! Good, you get back there, I'll do it. I knew you weren't made for this!
Maybe you're right.
Come on. Prove you can go the rest of the way. Current's not as strong now. Oh, here you go. I have done my best, Peter. Whatever you do in life, you can't expect anyone to do things for you. My experience. I won't always be here to help. And there'll come a time when you've got to prove you can do something by yourself.
Ahoy! Good row, Captain Hamilton.
Oh, get me away from this thing. It looks calm out there, but it's rougher than you think.
Oh, it does look nice and calm, you're right.
It's the current. Can't you see it?
It's very nasty ripples. It's practically a storm surge.
I think if the wind had been in another direction...
Oh, come here. Don't you know me at all by now? Come on, let's walk.
All right. Thank you.
Well, I've got used to being this relaxed. What's it going to be like getting back to college, having to smarten ourselves up? I really like you like this. It's nice. Remember when we met on that train and you were so self-conscious about that suit?
Oh, I remember. Seems silly now, eh? I remember you struggling with the suitcase.
So, do you want the good news?
Absolutely.
While you're out, I checked with the hotel and they said we could stay another night. And I thought, why not? Extend this holiday as long as we can. Extend the celebration.
Celebration?
Oh, you know, the summer of work. The fact that it's practically all done now. And perhaps we could celebrate us, too.
Us? Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Mr. Absolutely Hamilton.
Oh, stop it. I don't say it like that.
You do, and that's fine.
Ready to go home soon?
Not in the slightest. Oh, so pretty. Oh, look at these houses. Oh, if I had found someone I could row with, perhaps I could be living here.
Hey, I can row.
Well, that's good, because I think I might be in love.
Oh? Me too.
Oh, those two houses up on the cliff, look. Oh, which one should we have, the red or the blue?
It's arbitrary.
Oh, go on, pick one.
Okay, red.
My choice exactly.
Oh, almost like I knew what you were going to say.
Well, either house looks big enough for me. Maybe more than me one day.
Family.
Well, like I said, one day.
What about your work? Wouldn't you want to finish that first?
Well, finish work before I settle down, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I love my work. You know I do. I'm not going to finish it. I'm going to keep going as long as I can. I don't see why it has to be one or the other. Would you give up work to have children?
I would. I really would.
Well, I think the thing is, I wouldn't expect a man to give it all up. Not if he really loved his work. So why does the rest of the world think that we should give it all up? I keep thinking about all these bright young women I'm teaching, and I'm scared. I'm scared that despite all they've achieved, despite the fact that they're walking out into the world with a degree from Cambridge, the first thing they'll be asked is, how fast can you type?
You're probably right. It's a real waste of talent.
It really is a waste, you're right. Even the jobs they get, they're not expected to keep once they've had children. All it needs is people to stand up to it.
No, you're right. I think women have every right to stake their claim.
Not a woman this time. Women have been making a stand, throwing themselves under horses since the suffragettes. We need men to start fighting for it.
You can count on me.
I hope you do make a stand. Won't become part of all that. It's not easy, you know. A lot of people are still living in the dark ages about all this. Your professor, for one, I'll bet.
Oh, he's not as bad as you think.
I wouldn't be so sure. He doesn't know about any of this, does he?
This work?
Exactly. The work we've done. You will tell him, won't you?
Of course I will. I'll go straight to his office as soon as we're back.
Scouts honor?
Scout's honor.
Good.
This is good, isn't it?
It is.
Peter, marvelous to see you. Do come in. Take a seat. I have to say, I'm delighted.
Delighted? Well, that's wonderful to hear.
I must say it's very impressive.
You think so? Thank you.
Not at all. It's your work. I think the direction you took it gave it something of real value. Well, as I say, quite apart from the climate side of things, the method you developed to track radiation, I can see it having far-reaching implications, and not just in your own field. It's marvelous.
I'm glad you think so.
Yeah, first-rate piece of work, Peter. First-rate. This other name on here, Dr. Clara McKirrick, I presume we could drop that.
Clara was responsible for half the work, Professor. I couldn't...
Oh, well, I understand you probably had some little research assistants, but, well, we all have secretaries. we just don't usually put the name on the front cover of the paper.
What are you suggesting?
Tell me, have you seen your friend Joseph recently, Samuel?
I have.
Doing so well in their new positions. I would dearly love to see the same for you, Peter. And more for you, in fact.
Well, thank you.
It would be so well deserved after all these years. especially after the risk I took.
Risk?
A boy from a grammar school, first in his family to make it to university, you know what I'm saying. It's been really wonderful to give you this opportunity. I would just hate you to throw it away by misattributing your own hard work, that's all, for whatever reasons you might have.
I appreciate your concern, but Clara is responsible for the work on this too.
Well, as I say, it really is very good, and I'm not the only one who thinks so.
You've given it to someone else already.
I knew a few who I thought might be interested. I thought you'd be pleased. In fact, I think you might want to prepare yourself for being the center of attention for a little while. I'm sure you would be able to cope, but I think it's perhaps not quite the sort of thing you'd like to foist on a young woman's shoulders.
Whatever it is, I'm sure Clara could handle it.
With this name on here, there is a good chance it will cause problems.
I'm sure I could handle them.
This isn't all about you, I'm afraid. There could be problems for everyone. Clara was close with Molly Shannon, wasn't she? The one suspected of being a communist spy.
I'm afraid I don't know.
Well, it's true. How close they were is the real question. Clara joined Molly on that anti-British protest march, I hear.
It was anti-nuclear defense, not anti-British, I believe.
Well, you know my thoughts on that. They can be one and the same thing. A lot of people, very important people, believe you are either with this country or against it. Some of the benefactors of this college, for example. My father used to call this university one of the greatest contributions Britain has made to the world. I would agree with that. Wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
I'd hate to be the one to undermine it. The affair with this Cambridge 4 business has been bad enough. We can't change the past, Peter. But we can learn from it. Before we fool ourselves into remembering it too kindly. Now, with this name on here, and the associations one might make, you see what I'm saying?
If you met Clara, I'm sure you'd agree her name should be on the paper.
Good God, Peter, I am trying to make you understand something. This is precisely the way the rot sets in. It's the slow knife. Members of this university were recruited to spy for the Soviet Union 10 years ago. Now, members of this university are demanding we lay down our weapons. The only defense we have against the very same foreign power. What happens in 10 years' time? And what happens to the integrity of this college in 10 years? If you share your work on a whim with a girl you've taken a fancy to. And what happens 10 years after that? One cannot survive by making oneself vulnerable. That is why this university is still here. That is why I am still here. I hope you understand how much I care about your success. It's so common for work to fade into obscurity after it's published. It would be a shame if yours were denied my full-throated support, especially after so many years.
It would, absolutely.
I cannot make your decisions for you, Peter. By all means, publish with Clara as a co-author if you're feeling generous, but if you do, you'll have to take your chances. It would be difficult for me to bring to bear any influence I have. By way of illustration, I have an address in Whitehall to give you.
Thank you.
Afraid I can't tell you much more now, but he's a good man. Cambridge man. And you may find there's one more reason to leave Clara out of things. I'm sure things will become clear soon.
I think you've made things very clear.
Well, let me know what you decide. Just knock any time. My door is always open. Peter, marvelous to see you. You've come at the right time. Even the 37 for 4. Terrible state of affairs. Anyway, you said you wanted to see me about something, eh? Something you wanted to let me know.
Clara came up with the big idea too. Financially,
What can I say? I respect your decision. I do admire a man who knows his own mind.
Dr. Hamilton, Peter, how do you do? So good to meet you.
How do you do?
Excuse me, I won't be a moment. Still 3 o'clock, yes? Oh, no need to reschedule. This won't take long. Should be very quick. Right then, please do take a seat. Delighted you could make it to London. I do hope you get the time to enjoy it a little too, considering how busy you've been recently.
Thank you. I'll try to.
Good, do. Anyway, I imagine you're wondering why we asked you here. Well, it can't have surprised you that your field of study has been of increasing interest to us, especially since the war.
Oh, you're interested in climatology?
Oh, of course. The paper is going very well, I hear.
Well, it is now, thank you.
Oh, yes, your professor, John Hargreaves, passed us a copy. And it's impressive, the amount of information you've managed to gather. Although I imagine the process of gathering it was rather difficult on your limited budget.
I had some help.
Oh, yes, we heard about that. As I said, we were most impressed and wanted to make you an offer. Reward, even.
Reward?
Well, you've no doubt taken your budget to its limits by now. What would you say if I could guarantee you a practically unlimited budget for further study? Ensure you had the best equipment, like the Americans. Take you right to the heart of things.
The heart of things?
I believe you traced the source of the radiation back to Antarctica, didn't you?
Well, it was me and someone else.
I see. Well, whatever the details, I'd say that warrants further study on location, wouldn't you?
It does.
I'm glad you agree. We could place you with the Falkland Islands Dependency Survey working in Antarctica, scientist bods. Happy amateurs, very passionate like yourself. Of course, you'd probably have to sort a few things out with the other name we saw on the paper before you go. I hope that wouldn't be too difficult, considering what's on offer.
The other name, Clara, you mean?
Lovely name. Probably for the best she wouldn't be able to go. Oh, not my say-so, I'm afraid. It's run a bit like the army down there. No women allowed.
Whose say-so is this?
I can assure you this is bigger than any one person.
Bigger than 2 people, you mean?
I see. Well, you signed those papers on your way in earlier, so I'm at liberty to tell you a little more. Things in the Antarctic, they've been a little strained recently. Lots of vested interests, territorial claims overlapping. Some sides wanting to secure the resources under the ground. Now, this kind of thing has been going on for decades, of course.
What kind of thing?
Oh, the Germans were flying over there, dropping swastikas in big circles. Before the war, that is. All a bit ridiculous, really. Now, I'm afraid it's the Soviets we've got to contend with. Bit of a royal mess, if you ask me. Still, we're trying to work with them.
That sounds like a wise idea.
It was wise, or so it seemed. It should all be in everyone's interest, you see. Every country signed up to something called the Antarctic Treaty. All a rather clever bit of politicking that happened behind the scenes a few years ago. Set up to ensure that Antarctica is used for strictly peaceful purposes. No weapons are to be used. No one can make any future claims on the land. Now, if it sticks, everyone will be frightfully happy. Every side content that they've staked their claim. No more aggression, let's say.
Sounds impossible.
Not impossible, just difficult. We've managed to placate the Soviets so far. This is all strictly confidential, but the sounds coming from Whitehall are not good. We're rather worried that it might all fall through.
I'm sure you are, but how does this affect me?
Well, in addition to the climate science you'd be able to do, tracking the radiation in the clouds and so forth, we'd like you to inform us of any other sources of radiation out there, what the readings are. If there are any bombs being set off on the continent, it's important that we know as much as we can about them.
We don't know what the Soviets might do next. You'd be using the very best equipment, as I said. Useful for your career. Useful for us.
This is still climate science, yes?
Absolutely right. The less we're involved, the better, really. But as I say, if you can help us in this small way, it would certainly help that career of yours.
My career's fine. Thank you.
Well, after speaking with a few people, Professor Hargreaves, for example, I'm sure that whatever your academic ambitions, after working on something as important as this, you'd have no trouble progressing. And if nothing else, think of the adventure of it. What a reward it would be for all your hard work. What do you think?
All right. I'll consider it.
Please do. Sorry, I've got a meeting in Westminster in 20 minutes. We'll have to cut this short. It's been very good to meet you. Do let me know. And if this Clara thing feels like a sticking point, all I can say is sometimes we all have to answer to something greater than ourselves. Why not think of it as an opportunity for you and to do what's right?
I see. Well, I'll do what's right. You can trust me on that.
I hope so. Women come and go. This is for your country.
Nothing. No map, nothing. Right.
Earth was that all about?
Well, cowboys, of course.
I mean, I might have enjoyed it if I was a 10-year-old boy, but it was just boys and their toys again.
It's just an adventure story.
Do all your adventure fantasies involve so much shooting? They're presenting themselves as if they're heroes instead of the land grabbers they actually were.
Think of it as a bit of harmless escapism, that's all.
I know what you're about to see, that they were just men testing themselves against the world.
Well, that's important.
Who says so? Fine, stop it now. And another thing, where were all the women? I counted one. She was a cook.
She was a very pretty cook.
Are you serious?
What? She was.
Oh, don't talk to me.
I'm only teasing. I do see what you mean, really.
It's depressing. Just turn the radio on, would you?
Of course. Not getting much.
The Prime Minister has urged for calm after news from Washington emerged tonight that the Antarctic Treaty is on the brink of falling through. Neither Britain, the United States, nor Soviet Russia could reach a deal. And, in an increasingly nervous political atmosphere, there is now the risk that there will be no agreement to stop any active aggression in Antarctica. After pinning the blame firmly on what he called Russia's continuing aggression, the Prime Minister warned that the next steps are far from clear, and that in this climate of mistrust, the world needed to stay vigilant. It remains to be seen who will make the next move.